Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn about human rights. Human rights are the rights inherent to all human beings, regardless of gender, nationality, place of residency, sex, ethnicity, religion, color, or other categorization. Thus, human rights are non-discriminatory, meaning that all human beings are entitled to them and cannot be excluded from them. Of course, while all human beings are entitled to human rights, not all human beings experience them equally throughout the world. Many government and individuals ignore human rights and grossly exploit other human beings.
Human rights and UNO. Human rights are the right inherent to all human beings, regardless of race, sex, nationality, ethnicity, language, and religion. Human rights include freedom from slavery, torture, freedom of opinion and expression, and fair trial. The right to life, work, and education. Human rights include the right to life and liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, and work and education. Everyone entitled into those rights without discrimination. International human rights law lays down the obligations of governments to act in certain ways or to refrain from certain acts in order to promote and protect human rights and fundamental freedoms of individual or groups. Human rights document. A set of basic rights and freedom has deep roots in European and American countries. Written precursors of human rights documents, the Magna Carta of 1215 England gave people new rights and made the king subject to the law. The Petition of Right 1628 England set out of the rights of the people. The Habeas Corpus Act of 1679 England, an act for the better securing liberty of the subject. The English Bill of Rights of 1689 set out of the certain basic civil rights. The French Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen 1789, a document of France stating that all citizens are equal under the law. The US Constitution and Bill of Rights 1791 safeguard the rights of the citizens. Characteristics of human rights. Inherent. They are not granted by any person or authority. Fundamental. They are fundamental rights because without them, the life and dignity of man will be meaningless, inalienable. They cannot be taken away from the individual. Indivisible. They can't be denied even when other rights have already been enjoyed. Universal. They are universal. They apply irrespective of one's origin status. They are enforceable without national border. Interdependent. They are interdependent because the fulfillment or exercise of one human rights cannot be had without realization of the other. Values of human rights. Dignity. The right to life, the right to integrity, the prohibition of enforced labor, slavery, and degrading punishment. Next one is justice. The right to fair trial, proportional punishments to crime, the right not to be trialed more than once for the same crime. Next one is equality. Equality before law. No discrimination on race, religion, gender, age, ability, disability, etc. Preamble of UDHR. All men are born and all are equal in status and rights. They are endowed with intelligence and conscience and obliged to promote the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all men. Human Rights Day is celebrated annually on 10th December every year. It is to honor the United Nations General Assembly for declaring the human rights universally. Kinds of human rights. There are 30 articles incorporated in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. These rights are broadly classified into 5 primary categories. They are as follows. First one is civil rights. The term civil rights refers to the basic rights afforded by laws of the government to every person. This is the right to be treated as an equal to anyone else. It includes the right to life, liberty, freedom from slavery, and arbitrary arrest. Next one is political rights. Political rights are exercised in the formation and administration of a government. The civil and political rights are directly related to modern democracy. They protect the individual from misuse the political power and recognize every individual's rights to participate in the country's political process. It includes the freedom of expression and peaceful assembly, the right to take part in the government of one's country, the right to vote, the freedom of speech and obtain information. Next one is social rights. It is necessary for an individual to fully participate in the society. Social rights are those rights necessary for an adequate standard of living, including right to education, healthcare, food, clothing, shelter, and social security. Economic rights, the right to participate in an economy that benefits all to desire work. Next one is economic rights. It guarantees every person to have condition under which they are able to meet their needs. This includes the right to employment and fair wage, the reasonable limitations of working hours, shelter, education, and adequate standard of living, and right to property. Last one is cultural rights. The right to freedom of religion and speak the language and to practice the cultural life of the community, the right to share in scientific advancement, the right to protection of moral and material interest.
Thank you, students.